Hello and welcome back to the farm. It is all about garlic around here right now. I had planted a lot. I can't even tell you how much I planted. And the kids helped me pull out the final stretch of it the other day. And now I'm working on processing it and getting it cured. So last year I cured it on some wire shelves with fan blowing in our shed, and I feel like that worked, but where I went wrong was when I stored it. I had stored it on top of our deep freezer, and I think the warmth from that might have dried it out. So they're just like little rock hard cloves. And it's okay. They're totally usable. They're too hard to blend up though and make into like a powder. But I can throw them into soups and stews and however I'm cooking, and they rehydrate. I've also seen where you can soak them in water and they'll rehydrate as well. So my plan is to try that and to use those up in my canning for this year. But what I'm just doing now with it is I'm doing garlic braids and letting them store that way on like my open shelving, on top of a hutch, just like different places throughout the home. I think that'll be a great way to allow it to cure out of the heat and be kind of in a more controlled environment, as well as, come on, it just looks beautiful. So that's what I'm doing with the majority of it. Another thing where I think I might have gone wrong this year is I think I waited too long to pull it. I should have probably pulled it a week sooner than I did. So it caused a lot of separation in the cloves, and you can kind of see that here where it's like it's pulling away, the paper is pulling away from the stem. Whereas if you look at one like this that I'm going to braid, you can see it's just real closed system. It's not open, it's not pulling away. So I had a lot that were open and a lot that were pulling away, a lot where the stem just completely pulled out, and I think that's just because I left it in the ground too long. And by doing that, it opens the door for rot, which I got quite a bit of rot and little wormies through there. So in order to save the majority of it, I'm having to peel it away into its individual cloves so that they don't get moisture in it and they don't rot. And so far I have already fermented a jar of garlic, which is really good medicinally, and I'll just chop that up and eat that on salads or kind of more fresh eating. And these, which I have so far, I'm going to put in some vinegar and keep in the refrigerator. So when I use up the dried ones in my canning, if I need more garlic, I'll pull from these. The goal is to make them as shelf stable as possible. The ones that are still good but like they have their paper intact, pulled away from the bulb, will be the next round. I'm just going to keep them in a bowl on my counter, and then lastly I'll use the ones that were braided. And the ones that were braided will be also my seed for next year. I didn't have to buy any garlic seed this year, which was a huge money saver. I was able to plant what I had last year because I had put that in a separate bowl in a separate spot and not on top of the refrigerator. So luckily it was saved and I was able to keep it for seed. So I'll keep a few of the braids back and be able to plant them for next year, and it'll just cycle through each year. So that's what I'm doing with the garlic. It's taken me a few days of braiding and sorting, but it's been kind of nice to just sit on the porch. The weather's been lovely, and we had an awesome rain shower today, and just kind of pick through this little by little. I've always been one to work with my hands, so this is actually pretty therapeutic for me. Okay, braiding garlic is kind of tricky till you get the hang of it. Hopefully I can try to explain this to you so you can do it yourself. But you just want to take a bigger bulb with two smaller ones and kind of bunch them together, and then tie it. You could use a rubber band or just tie it with some twine like I'm doing. Okay, so we're going to start the braid. Now I place it on the left side, I'm going to place it on the right side, and then braid over. And because I just braided over on the left, I'm going to put a bulb. And now go over. So you can see where this side crossed over. Now I want to put a bulb there because the left side is going to cross over, and that's what's going to hold the bulb in place. So every time you cross over, you lay another bulb on top of that one. And now I'm going to cross over. Because I crossed over, I'm going to lay a bulb on top of it. And now I'm crossing over with the right one, so I'm going to lay a bulb on top of it. See how this one crossed over? Now I'm going to lay a bulb on top of there. And you'll keep working down. See, I'm going to cross over in my braid, and now I'm going to lay a bulb on top of that. And I kind of alternate between big ones and little ones so they lay nicely. Cross over and lay a bulb on top of what you just put over. And then cross over. I like to do between 12 and 14. I think that's a good number. I don't think they get too heavy. So if I want to hang it, it's not going to be too heavy to hang. I'm going to finish out the braid just a little bit and tie it off with some twine. Again, it's not perfect, but it's still beautiful. I think the purple stripings in this Parisian garlic is really what makes it pop. You can see maybe sometimes where the braid gets a little bit off, but once you get the rhythm of it and you get the hang of it, it goes pretty easy. It's just anytime you fold over that top part of the braid, you'll lay a garlic there. You fold over the other part of that braid, you'll lay a garlic there. So whenever you fold over and that strand's on top, that's what you lay the garlic on top. Then you take the next side, fold it over, and lay the garlic on top of that. Hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, ask some questions. I'm going to braid a couple more, and maybe then you'll see kind of the rhythm of it. It took me watching a few people do it, and it took me doing it a few times before it clicked. I love this because I feel like it looks very primitive, and it looks like the way it used to be in a much simpler time. You can also do this, from what I'm told, with onions. You can also braid them and preserve them or cure them this way as well. One suggestion, if you've got some littler cloves like I do, I just put 2 in one spot instead of just one good sized one. I did 2, and I really like the way that filled out. I wish I would have done that. I figured that out at the end, at the last one, right? I wish I would have done that sooner, because I just think that adds a little character to it. But that's an option if you've got a few really small ones. It kind of helps fill in the gap. That officially wraps up garlic season here at the farm. It's one of my favorite things to grow and harvest and put away. It's one of my husband's least favorite because he walks around the whole time asking what that smell is. I'm sure it drives him crazy. But now that that's done, it's time to move on to other projects. So thank you for watching. May the Lord bless and keep you. Until next time.